I'm Casey.
And I'm Julie.
And this is
Edumecation.
Lit Talk. This week we'll be talking about
Murder on the Orient Express.
Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be talking about murder. So the book was about a detective who is going on a train and he is bound to go to a hotel. And he's going to meet up with some people at this hotel. So he goes on the train and then he's like observing people and he's just like, these people are really strange. Like there's two people that go and act like they're strangers and then he catches like a glimpse, not a glimpse, but like he kind of passes by and hearing. He goes and like hears them having a conversation about something like, oh, we'll figure it out later. But it's like, you're strangers, so what are you talking about? You know? So obviously they knew each other. So he's like, these people are suspicious. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But the whole time he's like being like very detective-y. I don't know. So anyways, so he's just been really like, all right, questionable. Like, what's going on over here? So then he goes and he gets to the hotel and then he gets a telegram. And the telegram's just like, hey, we need you for this case that we have that we got more details on and you need to get on the next train and meet us there. So he's like, all right, whatever, and he goes and gets on the next train, and it's the same train. So it's the Orient Express. And then he goes and starts realizing even more of these people are weird and they just don't seem like who they are. So he goes back to his room and he goes to sleep, and then he gets woken up because he hears a lot of noise. And then he realizes the train stopped, but he's just thinking like the train's at a stop. So he's just like, okay, I don't know what's going on. He starts reading for a few hours.
He thinks it's normal.
Yeah, he's just like, whatever. He's like not being suspicious, which is weird for him. So I was just like, that's kind of weird. But then he goes and starts reading or whatever, and then he's just like, just something doesn't seem right. So then he orders water, which I don't know why. And then he goes,
stay hydrated.
I don't know, maybe he was drinking, alright? Maybe he was just like, I won't buzz, nothing suspicious right now because like, I'm chilling. Then he orders water because he's obviously hungover. And then after his water, he's like, I'm gonna go and get my munchies on. And he goes into the dining hall with all these people and they're all talking. And the next thing you know, he gets called to his hotel room by like the detective on board. Not the detective because he's a detective, the cop person on board, and then the doctor. So they go and say, hey, this guy that's on the train is murdered. And ironically, it happens to be a guy that told the detective earlier on about how he needs the detective to look into personal stuff because he feels like somebody's out to get him. So it's just like, and the detective didn't like the vibes that he was getting from this person, so he's like, no. So now this person's murdered. So he goes into the room, he sees that they're dead, and he's like looking to see like how they died and everything else like that. So it looks like stab wounds multiple times. And he's like, okay.
So this was intentional.
And he sees that there are right-handed and left-handed stab wounds. So there's multiple people involved. And then he sees that there's different matches in the match tray, where if you were smoking, you can go and put it in. So he's just like, that's weird. And then he finds a piece of burnt paper with a name on it, and it's of a little, of the murderer that murdered a little girl. So then he figures out that the guy that was murdered actually ends up being a kidnapper who murdered this little girl in a different town. So he's like, okay, so that wasn't his real name. His real name was this. And he starts like investigating people, and he like sits them down and is like interrogating, like, oh my god, where were you on this day? Okay? And he is piecing everything together, and people's stories are not adding up. So long story short, I'm just gonna go cut to the chase. He goes and puts everybody's pieces of the puzzle together, and it turns out that everybody that was correlated around this little girl, like the driver that used to drive her, her godmother, and like all these other people were involved in the murder. And they actually weren't the people that they were saying they were. So they all knew each other. That's why the strangers knew each other, because they're trying to act like strangers, because they all plotted to go and hunt down this guy and murder him for killing the little girl. So the detective goes to the police person that's on board, and he goes to the doctor and goes to them with what he has found and says, listen, you have two options. You can either go and say that the window that was left open in the train cart where the guy was murdered was how whoever murdered the guy escaped, and they're no longer on the train, they don't know who did it. Or you can tell the truth that all these people know each other and they were correlated to this murdering this little girl, and they plotted to murder this guy.
Obviously, they went with the first
Yes,
one. Yeah,
so they went with the
that's why
first
they won't
one.
get caught.
Yeah, so they were like, no, we're gonna let these people go, and they let it go. So that's basically how it ended. So I also left a really big detail out. The guy that murdered the little girl, he went and on trial, like he went away for a little bit of time, but then he went and he had a lot of money, so he paid these people off to go and release him. And then that's why he did the Elias name, so that he could go and hide from Elias name. That's why he did the Elias name, so he could hide from all these people, because he knew that people were out to get him. So now that I said that, our topic is justice.
Okay, so I feel like there's a very thin line between justice and revenge. And it's very easy to cross that line. If, the guy who murdered the little girl hadn't originally, bought his way out,
Okay.
then this would be I feel like this should be considered as revenge. But because he didn't get what he deserved initially, them, murdering him towards the end, I feel like that's justified in a way. In a sick, twisted way, but in a way.
Question for you. Just don't know how to answer this, guys. How do you justify what somebody deserves? Yeah. If you rape somebody, who's to say what you deserve?
I feel like it should be an eye for an eye.
A tooth for a tooth, like Austin?
Yeah, if you do something bad to somebody, that thing should be
Yeah, but
done to
he
you.
got a little bit of time. Who's to say how much time this guy deserved?
He deserved a lot.
Who are you? Do you
Okay.
think that he deserved to die? Or do you think they should frame him for a different murder or something like that?
I don't think they should have framed him for a different murder.
You think that he deserved to die? Do you think they should have killed him?
Yes.
Don't trust her.
Okay. I feel if he killed somebody and he went and got away with it, this dude is still walking the streets. He's still walking the streets. What's to stop him from killing somebody else?
Who's to say that he didn't learn his lesson and he doesn't feel remorseful and he was never going to kill anybody? He hadn't killed anybody since he killed her.
Because if it happens once, it's going to happen again.
But he did it!
Okay, not yet. But if you do something and you get away with it, then you're going to think oh, I got away with it, so I'll do it again.
So he's innocent.
What's the big deal?
So they're innocent. You don't think that...
I don't think they're innocent.
But then there wouldn't really be a way for them to go and punish him otherwise. Because he already served his time technically. He just paid the people off.
He got away with it.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So
I feel like they were justified.
I think they were.
It was a little cruel, but I get where they're coming from, and I feel like it was justified at the end of the day.
Okay. Alright, that makes sense. Alright, so now we'll go and play a little game. So today's game, I'm going to go and give Jules a couple of crimes that I've committed, and she has to go and
That
guess
you committed?
that I've committed. Anyways, but you're gonna have to go and guess how much time I would get in New York State. Alright, ready? First degree murder. This is the one that I would actually commit. Not that I would commit it, I would never, I'm sorry. Never
You
mind.
really want to
But
admit that on camera?
no, would never. But I'm over the other two.
10 years.
For first degree murder?
Is that a lot?
No, that's so little.
Really?
First degree murder.
No,
It's
but I mean like how?
like I had the intentions of killing you and the action of killing you.
Premeditated, but like.
Oh, you get it all technical, premeditated murder. Oh!
Okay, but I feel like it would depend on how you committed the act.
I shot you.
Okay, that's like,
I stabbed you.
okay, it's different if you like shoot someone versus if you stab them 20 times to death. I feel like if you stab someone 20 times to death, you should get like more years. But I'm gonna just go ahead and say like 10 to 15 years.
It can be 20 to 25 years to life.
Wow.
I don't understand how they jump from a quarter of a life to your entire fucking life.
Then I feel like it depends on how you did it.
You're not God. Who told you to kill somebody?
Well, okay, but like, let's say if you do it, right, and it's just done like really quickly, then it's like you're not that sick and twisted in the head versus like if you do it in a very brutal manner. Yeah, like that, like.
That deserves life.
Yes, that deserves life.
Okay. Alright. Well, now that we got like a gist of what a normal punishment time is, so you know this time, let's go into another one. Okay. Rape in the first degree.
See, this is difficult because a lot of like rape cases get dismissed.
Yes.
Like just, but what I feel like would be a suitable like sentence, 30 years.
The minimum versus the maximum is 5 to 25 years. Seriously, what the fuck, New York State? You're jumping a little too fast. Lastly, kidnapping in the first degree, which I didn't know there's degrees to this, but apparently there are.
25 years.
You were off.
Is it?
No, it's 15 to 40, so minimum 15, maximum 40.
Why is there like such a big?
That's what I'm saying!
What is
Who is making this?
What does it depend on? Is what I'm curious about.
Fuck knows. Opinion? So what's going on in New York State? What are you doing wrong? You're doing something wrong.
You gotta reconsider your sentence time.
Yeah, but this is like you know, at least me and Jules, our opinions kind of like gather a little bit, but
they're based off of something. I feel like it shouldn't range
so much.
Yeah, like.
Do you think that they fit the crime? The punishment fits the crime?
No.
So you don't think that justice is served for most of them?
It's weird because for some of the crimes I feel like they're giving too much time and for others they're giving too little time.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
I feel like it's backwards. I just want to know what it's based off of.
I agree. Okay. So that was our discussion today on justice and how messed up the judicial system is in New York State. Okay. So anyways, we'll see you next time, guys, on Education.
Lit talk.